I'm Dana K. White of aslobcomesclean.com and author of Organizing for the Rest of Us and How to Manage Your Home Without Losing Your Mind, where I talk a lot about doing the dishes, right? I mean, I'm saying right. If you've ever watched me before, you know that. If you haven't, welcome. I am here to talk to you about getting the most out of your dishwasher. If you don't have a dishwasher, I'm sorry. Basically, everything else that I ever talk about with dishes applies to whatever your situation is, because it is not the machine, it's the routine. Not the machine, the routine, okay? But I do want to talk about the dishwasher because I hear a lot of people who will say, oh, well, my dishwasher doesn't actually clean that well. Well, I don't want to, it drives me crazy to wash the dishes first and then put them in there. I know a thing or two about dishwashers because I have both used it every day for the last 13 years, but also I have at some point, I think it was probably 5 or 6 years into my deslobification process, which I was recording over on my blog, A Slob Comes Clean, I went to the Maytag labs. Okay, this dishwasher is not a Maytag, but I went to the Maytag labs, I visited, I talked to the actual, scientists who their job is to think about dishwashing all day long, and the engineers who designed the dishwashers. And so I learned some real great little teeny tiny tricks that significantly increase the performance of your dishwasher. So it's just some things to think about as you are using your dishwasher, okay? So the number one thing I'm gonna tell you is something I did not want to hear because I was born a cheapskate, and that is use the expensive dishwashing stuff, specifically pods or tablets or whatever. I don't care what brand you use, but you need to use the good stuff, okay? So the way this was explained to us on this tour was your dishwasher is designed to do an amazing job, but then there's also chemistry. The chemistry makes a difference in how clean your dishes get. The explanation we were given, this is my memory of it, okay, was that in, I think it was 2010, the EPA or someone made a change in the ingredients that could be used in dishwashing detergent. And one of the things that they said you can't use this anymore was actually one of the main things that got your dishes cleaned. And so the companies that were creating the chemistry had to come up with new formulations. Well, at the same time, pods and tabs got to be really popular, and so they decided to put their effort and their energy and their time into pods and tabs, okay? Because they had to come up with a new formulation anyway. That's what was selling. That's where they put that in. So if you remember, I actually remember this. I remember not knowing what was going on, but realizing that my same stuff I'd always been using was not working as well, okay? That's why, because of that ingredient change that happened there. Just use up what you got if you feel like you have to, and then try a small thing if you're just not convinced that buying something more expensive can make a big difference. I know, I'm a cheapskate too, I get it, but just try it. Just try it and see if it makes a difference. It's going to make a difference. Okay, so I, as someone who is super frugal, once I realized what a difference it actually made, I was like, that's where I'm willing to spend the money. I'm willing to pay a small amount more, okay? I know it all adds up over time, but I am willing to put a little more money into that one thing in order to have my dishes get cleaner, okay? Another thing about pre-washing, you're really not supposed to have to pre-wash, okay? So my ones at my old house were actually newer than this one, all right? But these same principles help a lot. But that one, my old one, which was newer, had a garbage disposal in it. This one doesn't, okay? So I am more careful here to not have chunks of things that are in there, but your dishwasher is designed to clean the dishes. Like, you are not supposed to have to pre-wash, all right? So I'm just telling you that, okay? All right, but in my old dishwasher with the garbage disposal, oh, I'd put all kinds of stuff in there, like not bones, obviously, but I would put chunks o cake or hunks o food in there. And using all of these strategies, my dishes got great and clean. Now I'm more careful, obviously, because we're on septic and there's no garbage disposal down there and I don't want it to get clogged, okay? All right, so what are some things that you need to do? Well, you need to use the more expensive stuff. You also need to press all your buttons. I mean, like, this is a big one. Like, those two things alone are the biggest things. Press all your buttons. I used to always put my dishwasher on normal because I just was like, I don't know, does it really make a difference? It makes a difference, y'all. The engineers told me we did those buttons on purpose for a reason. So I always do, like, I think my old one had like which was a newer one, whatever. My newer dishwasher in my old house had like turbo scrub or something. I mean, I always, like, that was my standard. Always put it on the most intense thing that I could do. If you are worried about how much it's costing for you to run your dishwasher, my number one recommendation on that is for you to go to your manufacturer's website, look up your model, and see if they have the information, because you're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised at how little water and energy that modern dishwashers use, okay? And that information will probably help you go, oh, okay, that's all it's using, that's worth it, all right? Another little note on that, I know that's not what this one is about, but if you are thinking that you use more water by running the dishwasher, you are so completely wrong. I'm sorry, but you use so much more water hand washing than you do running the dishwasher, okay? So look it up, find your information yourself, prove me wrong, and then you'll find out I'm right. Okay, so on this one, I don't have as many great options as I did on my old one, but I generally use cookware. Can I do cookware and antibacterial at the same time? I feel like I do. I don't know, I think I have to have it closed. Okay, so I do cookware. Oh no, I can only do one or the other. Anyway, so I do cookware and heated dry. You know, use your ones for like glass only. What does that say? Glass cycle. Okay, china, crystal. Use the options. Like, they're there for a reason. Anyway, so I generally will do my super scrubber as much as I can in whatever dishwasher I have. So the next thing for you to check is your mechanics. So we're gonna check our mechanics, all right? What I mean by that is every single load, I go under here and I spin that doolally, okay? That's what it's officially called, is a doolally. I'm just kidding. And I make sure that it's not hitting on something. Sometimes I will have a cookie sheet that I think I can have over there, and in reality, it's actually too tall. I added in some of the culprits that I've actually had recently that I've dealt with, and that is sometimes if my dishes are in there in a way where my plates are straight, like as tall as they can be, that will hit the plates. If it hits the plates, it's gonna stop and it's not going to clean the dishes on the top rack the way that it should. And so you might end up finding, like, oh my goodness, why are some of the top rack just doesn't get clean? I don't know what's going on. And so then I run it again and I run it again. Well, if I haven't changed these things, it's just gonna keep having the same problem, okay? Another culprit was there were other silverware that were in here, cutlery, whatever you call it in your area of the world. But there were other things in here that kind of pushed this up, and it was hitting on this. This straw, if it's straight up, it blocks the doolally, okay? So all of those things, I run it and then I adjust things. I'm like, okay, let me make sure my plates are tilted over so that they don't make that thing stop, okay? So every single time I spin that to make sure that it's okay. There's also one up here. I don't generally spin that one because it's really just getting the top of the top stuff anyway. But if I'm having issues, I will double check that, okay? A big one, a really big one, is your detergent door, okay? This was one that all of us, all the people who were on this tour, were all like, what? The woman who was, you know, in charge of actually designing these things was explaining that this is a real major issue. They're like, you know, if your door doesn't open, here's what I used to do. If my detergent door didn't open, I would, first of all, my first step was to get really, really mad and be like, what is going on? What's wrong with my dishwasher? Do I need a new dishwasher? Oh no, what, you know, I would get really upset about it. And then I would run it again. And then it still wouldn't open and I'd be mad again. And so I'd run it again. And then and I was like, anyway, they explained, if the door doesn't open, I know some of y'all are like, how do people not know this? I'm telling you, oh, we don't. If it didn't open, it's usually because there's, you know, something blocking it. And when it doesn't open, I generally go, oh, it's because I had a cookie sheet there or whatever. The more I'm aware of that, the more I make sure that there's nothing that's going to be blocking it. A lot of dishwashers are now designed to for you to not be able to put anything in a place where it will block it, but just pay attention to that, okay? That's probably why. So if it doesn't come open, move something that's possibly blocking it. The last thing I want to say is if your dishwasher is not cleaning great, you need to check your filter, okay? I am not going to tell you how to go about doing that because there are literally YouTube videos by people who actually do that kind of stuff for a living that will explain to you. You can probably find, obviously I can't guarantee it, but I can almost guarantee that you can probably find your exact dishwasher model. Like I know there are at least 2 of this exact model because I've used both of them at different times when I had to, you know, look it up and check that. Recently ours was not draining. I don't understand exactly. I went in there, I cleaned out the filter. It still didn't drain. I called the plumber. He pushed the buttons and it drained. Whatever, I'm mad. But by doing that, I also, because I had been frustrated because my top rack was not getting as clean and I was checking all the things that I knew to check. And after I did that, I realized, oh, this back thing back there, and I'll have B-roll of it, was off of where it should be. Well, that's where the water shoots up to clean the top rack, to make the top doolally spin, and it cleans the top rack. So it was off, and when I went through, cleaned out my filter, and made sure that everything was back where it should be, then then my top rack of dishes started getting clean again, like it was supposed to. Okay, so it solved that problem. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. But go in, see how to clean out your filter, which will probably have you, you know, kind of taking a few things apart and follow all their directions. I know one of the videos said, hey, put a cup over this thing so that when the screw comes out, if it falls, it doesn't fall down this hole. That was an amazing tip, right? But I'm not going to tell you how to do all of that. You can go and watch other videos for that. But I really did make a difference as I went through that. Then it helped me make sure that everything was in the right place. A lot of dishwashers, newer dishwashers than this one, will be a lot easier to clean out the filter. This one, I have to actually take some things apart, which drives me crazy, but it helps how clean my dishes get in the future, okay? All right, so if you watched this whole time mad that you don't have a dishwasher, just remember, it's not the machine, it's the routine. And I'll have a video soon about how we went, I think 3 weeks with no dishwasher when I thought it was broken, but it wasn't, but whatever. Hand washing and how our kitchen actually stayed cleaner. So amazing. All right, so no, dishwashers are not magical, but if yours is not working the way that you wish it would work, here's some things for you to try, okay? I will talk to y'all next week.